信できてない。配信できてるかな？電源を一番上にして、で、YouTube、読書。よいしょ。
フトプス、わらわら YouTube.com、ウォッチ、V ブクキシムキシンズルキス。
見えてるかな？皆様見えてるでございますでしょうかね。朝のグランブルーファンタジーやっていきたいと思います。BGM そう聞き取ったな。ガチャの時間じゃい。BGM いいとこ。相変わらずグダっぷりよの成長戦の江戸袋マン。よし、30連。あれが欲しいんですよね。何やっけ。召喚石いうの。強をするってやつ。ダブルチャンス。これ、よか武器なんですかね。ちょっとわかんないですけども。やった。ここで、この BGM 君に止まってもらって、よいしょ。忘れてた。コメント。ちょっと皆さんすみませんね。これか。接続先を追加。接続。よいしょ。で、ガチャやっていきますぜ。一個ずつ見せた方がいいんですかね。よいしょ。いつもの癖でスキップしてまいりましたけど。よし。マンモス。よし。シュバムーン。マッチローク。微妙な結果ではございますかね。いや、マンモス当たりか？まあ、当たりやと思っときやしょう。セールピガチャ。これはもうスキップでいきます。多いので。しよう。 よし、終わり。で、まずは、こいつから、とりあえず、流れで縛いていきたいと思う。とりあえず。これでいいか。よいしょ。
行きます。この槍の力見せた。思いっきり暴れられそうね。
白人演算戦山応酬。
本領の方がいる。
あんまり私をなめないことね。
よし。
我が勝利と栄光は民の。
でこれ延々と流すだけなんですけどもな。あんまり需要はないですかね。まあ、しゃあないしゃあない。雑談力鍛えるためや。まあ、雑談力っていうのは何か申しますと、なんじゃうなっていうので、ちょっとね、ジョー・リキッテさんの切り抜き見てたんでございますけれども、まあ、相手側の立場になって分かりやすいように、なんだ、話せいう話でしたけど、正味最近の流行いうもんも、何も分かっとらん状態でしてね、どうすりゃいいの。よいしょ。タタターンタタタタタタタター。
行きます。この槍の力見せた。思いっきり暴れられそう。
白人演算戦山応酬。
グラブルってあれなんですね。こう閉じたら画面に音が入らんようになる言うんですね。よいしょ。
我が勝利と栄光は民の。
で、これで全部やったか。バラッサー。足ね、正味、それなりに話し上手やとは思ってたんですけど、あれですね、あんまり話うまくはないっちゅうか、間違えた。まあ、あれでございますね。正味、相手がいて、こう、相づち打つのがそこそこ上手かったってだけでございまして、あんまり上手くなかったよなーって、こう、自分の会話という申しますか、雑談力と申しますか、そういうものがあんまりなかったよなって昨日分かりまして、正味かなりショックだったでございます。この作業が終わりましたら、まあ、あれですね。早めに、早めに赤い鳥をこの水のパーティーでしばけに行くっちゅうのを一応予定しておりますけども。 よ。
こっちに来ないでくれ。プラズマなら。
プラズマなら。賞味ね、高評価か低評価、どっちかでもいいから来てほしいって感じはありますね。高評価も低評価もこう、要は見てくださってるっていうのがわかるわけでして、心が折れそうだってやつでございますね。なんやダクソ的なデモンズ的なこういうことばっかり言ってるからね。やっぱあれでございますかね。モンハンとか、そういうの買った方がいいんでしょうかね。でもね、もう、おっさんになってきてね、反射神経がついてこないっていうのがね、ありましてね。まあ、足まだ20代なんでございますけど、何回このくだりやるんやって話でございますけど、何回もこすっていこうと思っております。この声好き。よいしょ。正味朝から足みたいな V 見てる方ってあんまいないと思いますね。足みたいな方は言っちゃダメなんですけどね。根っこの方が正味あんまりポジティブな方ではないっていうのが足なんです。なんとか直さないなとは思ってるんですけどもね。やっぱりどうも治らないという。よいしょ。この音楽もまあいい曲ではあるんですけど、何度も聴いてたらさすがにこう来るものがありますね。コメントの方ちゃんとこう表示されてるかちょっと気になる。表示されてないわ。なんでよ。気のせいか。ちょい待ってくださいね。ほんとこういうね。で気づいた。 これで多分字幕がちゃんと見えるようになってるはずなんですけども。BGM とね、さすがにゲシュタルトが崩壊してきたので、ちょっと BGM をね、雑談内に変えようかな。いや、変えちゃおう。失礼なんですけど。
Your guess is good as mine, Larry. One thing's sure. Inspector Clay's dead. Murdered. And somebody
プラン内に残していくスタイル。
You're in charge now, Lieutenant.
多分前代未聞でしょうけどね。まあ、他にも後にも先にも出てこないっていうところはあるでしょう。
How about the lab boys? Who do you think we left back up the car? Boy Scouts? Come on, Larry.
Greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for another. It is always difficult to have last words over the grave of a friend. And Inspector Daniel Clay was a friend, a dear friend to me and to all of us. The bell has rung upon his great career. Now we lay him to rest. A rest well deserved, but so premature.
もうちょい他の方の配信見て勉強しちゃよかったなって今めっちゃ後悔しております。
People turning south from the freeway were startled when they saw 3 flying saucers high over Hollywood Boulevard.
私の朝飯ピザポテト
A woman startled by the sight in the sky telephones the police.
私まあちょっと顎があれなんですけど顎関節症的なキットカットをこう縦にした感じのあるじゃないですか、大きさ。あれでだいたい限界な感じではございますね。こう開く広さがまあキットカット分ぐらいで限界っていうのがきついよ、ほんと。何も食えんからね。コッペパンとかフランスパンとか。
Rockets were quickly set up. Colonel Tom Edwards, in charge of saucer field activities, was to make the greatest decision of his career. He made that decision. Colonel Edwards gave the signal to fire.
途中でちょいちょい変えてくるのどうやって話ではありますけどまあ一人見てくださってるだけにかなり足としては助かってますのでありがとうございます。 これ。
Then as swiftly as they had come, they were gone, even to the piercing eye of radar and the speeding jet fighters.
Quite a sight, wasn't it, sir?
A sight I'd rather not be seeing.
Are you worried about them, sir?
スマホやので、PC の方でやってるんですけどもね。
That would indicate visitors.
たまに押しミスと申しますか、押し漏れと申しますか、そういうものが出てきましてね。
For a time,
なんとか
we
な
tried
る
to
もん
contact
ですか
them
ね。
by radio, but no response. Then they attacked a
ならん
town,
でしょうな。
a small town.
多分足のパソコンというか、扱い方のせいっていうのはありますでしょうから。
I never heard about that, sir.
Well, it was covered up by the higher echelon. Take any fire, any earthquake, any major disaster, then wonder. Flying saucers, Captain, are still a rumor.
今これどんぐらい時間やったっ
Looks like we beat them off again, sir.
What do they want? Where are they from? Where are they going?
They, sir? Who?
け
This is a training maneuver, sir. We only did a little practice firing.
足を切ったのまあ4時ぐらいとまあ遅くも早くもないっていう時間なんでございますけども、やっぱ朝方は眠くなりますね、どうしてもね。
What will their next move be?
Your space commander has returned from Earth.
Send him in.
間違えた。
You have your report?
We had to pull in here to Space Station 7 for regeneration.
あくびをする旅跡が伊藤なると。
What progress has been made?
We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
つらいね、つらいよ、つらいのよ。
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled.
Plan 9. Ah, yes. Plan 9 deals with the resurrection of the dead. Long-distance electrode shot into the pineal and pituitary glands of recent dead. Have you attempted any of this plan as yet?
Yes, Excellency.
How successful has it been?
We have risen 2 so far. We shall be just as successful on more.
The living, they have no suspicion of your movements?
We had to dispose of 1 policeman. However, none of those risen have been seen. At least not by anyone who still remains alive.
It's too bad it must be handled this way. Must. Those who we take from the grave will lead the way for our
し
own
かし
progress.
まあ、
Yes, Excellency.
気が理さになるんですが、やっぱ足の顔いいなぁと。これで声もよかったらね、いいんですけどもね。
It appeared His Excellency wouldn't take our report as well.
Well, had he been dealing with our own people, his reaction would have been completely different. He understands the difficulties of the Earth race.
What do you think will be the next obstacle the Earth people will put in our way?
Well, as long as they can think, we'll have our problems. But those whom we're using cannot think. They are the dead, brought to a simulated life by our electrode guns. You know, it's an interesting thing when you consider the Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot, the dead. Well, our ship should be regenerated. We better get started.
お見合いに行く。いいとしたっけ。どうぞ。こうか。
I still think you ought to go in town and stay with your mother until I get back.
This is our home, and nothing's going to take me from it. Besides, most men try and keep their wives from going home to Mama.
That's not the point.
That's all the point there's going to be. Now toddle off and fly your flying machine, darling. But if you see any more flying saucers, will you tell them to pick another house to
し
buzz?
かしあれですな、画面がカオスに過ぎるというもの。
Don't worry about me.
Oh, you're the only thing I do worry about. Oh, forget about the flying saucers. They're up there.
メタトロン。
But there's something in that cemetery. And that's too close for comfort.
The saucers are up there, and the cemetery's out there. But I'll be locked up in there. Now, off to your wild blue yonders.
You promise you'll lock the doors immediately?
I promise. Besides, I'll be in bed before half an hour is gone, with your pillow beside me.
A pillow?
Well, I have to have something to keep me company while you're away. Sometimes in the night when it does get a little lonely, I reach over and touch it. Then it doesn't seem so lonely anymore.
A crazy kid. I do love you, darling. See you Thursday.
Goodbye, honey.
You know I'm not leaving you here until you
お、
lock
こ
the
れ
door
は
inside.
ワンタンジル。やったぜ。
If you're especially nice, I may even lock the side door.
And be sure you keep the yard lights on.
で、全部と。てなわけで、ここから本題入るに、28分もかかったわけでございますけども。これから赤い鳥をしばいてしばいてしばき回したろういうのが始まります。
We've got 33 passengers back there that have time to be preoccupied. Flying this flybird doesn't give you that opportunity.
I guess you're right, Danny.
Paula?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong between you two.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Just that I'm worried she being there alone and those strange things flying over the house and those incidents in the graveyard these past few days. It's just got me worried.
Well, maybe they haven't figured out those crazy skybirds yet, but I'd give you 50 to 1 odds the police have figured out that cemetery thing by now.
意外と硬い。
Really that worried, Jeff? Why don't you radio in and find out? Max should be on duty at the field by now. He could call Paul and relay the message to you.
Hi, Edie.
Hi, Silence. I haven't heard a word from this end of the plane since we left the field.
I've just been giving himself and me a study in silence.
You boys aren't feuding.
No, Edie, nothing like that.
Hey, Edie, how about you and me balling it up in Albuquerque?
Albuquerque, have you read that flight schedule, boy?
What about it?
We land in Albuquerque at 4 a.m. That's strictly a 9 o'clock town.
Well, I know a friend that'll help us.
Let's have the problem first. Danny?
He's worried about Paula.
I read about that cemetery business. I tried to get you kids not to buy too near one of those things. We get there soon enough as it is.
It's supposed to be quiet and peaceful there.
No doubt about that. It's quiet all right, like a tomb. I'm sorry, Jeff. That was a bad joke. Say, I almost forgot what I came in here for. How's the coffee situation?
That's for me.
It sure would hurt to think
今日はこれを延々と繰り返す。今日はっていうか、この枠は延々と繰り返すっていうのをやりますけど。
How about that Albuquerque ball?
I can't resist your charm, Danny.
Residents near the cemetery paid little attention to the blast of thunder and the flash of lightning. But from the blast arose the moving figure of the dead old man.
しょう。
Hello? Who? Mac? Well, hi, Mac. Sure, I'm all right. I just fell asleep.
よし。
Tell Jeff I'm all right. Okay, Mac.
明石手島家やヒーロのとりよ、さはみねはみ、手を伸ばせ。かなりのしののしでございます。脳が死んでる。昨日もね、かなり脊髄で話しとったわけでございますけども。脊髄で話すとつうか、常に脊髄で行動しとったわけですけどもね。はい。曲きた。聞き慣れた。親の曲より聴いた曲。親の曲って何や。試合ですね。概要欄のところにプラン9とかそういうの書いといた方がいいですね、これ。正味序盤の方、序盤つうか昨日のやつは、まあ、データとしてと申しますか、サプライズとしてと申しますかで、まあ、書かなかったんですけど、まあ、今後レギュラーとしてプラン9流していく予定なんで、書いといた方がいいよかなっていう、ちょっと思うようになりました。ダメだね、思いつきで行動しちゃうね、ほんとね。タイトルこれ、タイトル概要欄。手に持ってください。そうと。 たよ、ちゃん。まあ、このアグニスなんですけど、正味あんま倒せた記憶がない注文しますか？
They'll be at the hatch in a moment. You can open it now, Jenna. Turn off the electrodes quickly. They can't tell us from anyone else.
It's tough to find something when you don't know what you're looking for.
I don't think the lieutenant does either.
Then what are we doing out here? I was off duty an hour ago.
Ah, don't ask me any questions. I'm just a hard hand just like you.
What do you suppose that noise was?
Whatever it was, it's no more strange than the other things happening around this cemetery.
ちょっとメガネを動かしたらすぐ外れるからね、このトラッキング
The
やろう。
spirits he saw tonight were those I smelled on his breath.
Well, don't forget, Mrs. Trent claims to have seen them too. She didn't have anything on her breath.
She was hysterical.
True, she was frightened and in a state of shock. But don't forget that torn nightgown and the scratched feet.
やっぱ不便だな、この
Yeah, I
画面一つにこう PC の画面
guess that's why you're a detective,
PC の
Lieutenant.
ディスプレイ一つに画面かなり
Sometimes it's only the
あるっていうのは不便でございますね。
Lieutenant, did you hear that?
How could we help it? It sure was strange.
Know what it was?
No more than you do. Went for orders. I get out of here right now.
It was a saucer.
A flying
あり
saucer?
がたや、
Makes
あ
you
り
say
がた
that.
や。
Remember the noise we heard
持
the
つべ
other
きも
night?
のはやはりこう乱入してくる方たちっていうのは
Exactly. But you're not remembering that sound.
There you're wrong, Lieutenant.
せんよ。
I'm with the fact the sound is similar, but what about the blinding light?
Oh, haven't you heard?
うい
Many times a saucer hasn't had a glow. Or a light of
A
any kind, for
Toyota.
that matter.
That proves it. What
あ
next,
と4つ
Lieutenant?
手に入れるまでこれやりますよ。
Maybe this doesn't mean much, but Jamie Mead bought a
Sure.
grave that looks like it's been busted into.
What? Where?
Why, what?
Come on, man, out with it. We haven't got all day to waste.
Oh, just
4
over
つ
there.
やるまで半汁とかして主作
Look, here it is, Lieutenant.
ヒーローの鳥しばき回せしばき回せ
Been broken into all
しば
right.
き回せせ
Someone
せ
had broken in. The dirt should be piled up here somewhere. It looks like it's fallen into the grave.
Larry, you'll be out of uniform.
あ、これでね、赤い鳥を倒してね、
Technically, no.
No?
This
なんだ
spot looks familiar, though.
ポイント貯めて、それで
Yeah, we shouldn't investigate any further without the
武
permission
器
of
ゲ
the
ットするっていう
captain.
あれですね。
Now,
畜産的な感じの感じますね。畜産的なサムシング。
well,
よ
let's go down and find out whose grave it is.
いしょ。
By going down and finding out.
Are you sure you mean that,
倒して、撃って、ゲットして、倒して、撃って、稼いで、買って、
Monsters, graves, bodies.
で、買って、買って、買って、買って、買って、買って、稼いで、稼いで、買って、稼いで、買ってと。何を言いたいのかわからなくなってきました。多分誰にも分かってない。足にも分かってない。 だったら誰がわかるんやと誰にもわからないと。
It's too dark. Give me a flashlight. How about a match? We sure could try it. Let me have them. Okay. It's Inspector Clay's grave, but he ain't in it.
But meanwhile, at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C.
Right, G2. Come in. Yes, of course. I'll keep in touch.
Sure.
Come in, Colonel Edwards. Close the door. At ease, Colonel. Thank you, sir. Sit down. I understand, Colonel, you've been on tap for many of our saucer attacks.
I'm in charge of field operations, sir.
You believe there are such things as flying saucers, Colonel?
Let's see.
You've seen them?
Yes, sir.
You realize there's a government directive stating that there is no such thing as a flying saucer?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
You stand by your statement that you've seen flying saucers?
Well, yes, sir.
This could mean a court martial.
かわいいね。
Admitting this against direct order.
かわいいな、バンビー
General
が。
Roberts, may I speak freely?
You may.
How could I hope to hold down my command if I didn't believe in what I saw and shot at?
I like you, Colonel.
Thank you, sir.
There are flying saucers. There's no doubt they are in our skies. They've been there for some time.
What are we going to do about them?
Who knows?
Then, they really are there.
I thought you were convinced of that.
ちょっとマイクミュート
We've
に
had
しや
contact
す。
with them.
Contact? How?
Radio.
They speak our language?
Well, not quite. We've received messages from their spaceships. For a while, it came in as just a lot of jumbled noise.
And now, sir?
Well, since they first tried contact with us by radio, we've developed a language,
youtube.com ウォッチ
a machine that
ルイブク
breaks
キシム
down
キシン
any
ズルキス
language to our own.
太くすわらわら youtube.com ウォッチ
Got to do with me.
ルイブクキシムキシンズル
Been
キ
in
ス
charge of saucer field activity for a long while. I think it's about time you heard these recordings. You mind?
Mind? Huh. I'm anxious.
This is Heroes, a space soldier from a planet of your galaxy. I fully realize our language differences. However, I also know you finally have perfected the dictoroboter, or as you on Earth call it, the language computer. So you can now understand that which I speak. Since the
マ
beginning
イ
of
ク
the
やるの大変
we
で
have
す
been
ね。
far beyond your planet. It has taken you centuries
デスクトップの
to
方をミュート
grasp
する
what
って
we
いう人に
developed
すいません。
4
本
years
当
ago.
まだ全くないでノートすいません。本当
You didn't actually think you were the only inhabited planet in the universe. How can any race be so stupid? Permit me to set your mind at ease. We do not want to conquer your planet. Only save it. We could have destroyed it long ago if that had been our aim. Our principal purpose is friendly. I admit we have had to take certain means which you might refer to as criminal. That is because of your big guns which destroyed some of our representatives. If you persist in denying us our language,
何年前かのことでした誰かが大の頂にいたとして明日と昨日がつながってて明日のことは知っているイワシが土から生えてくるんだ目が見えなくなってきた
Atmospheric conditions in outer space often interfere with transmitting.
How many of these recordings do you have, General?
An even dozen up to now. This was the last
いろいろごっちゃごっちゃについてわけわかんないなってますけど。
We can't afford to take any chances. Come over here.
Sure.
You ever been to Hollywood?
Oh, a couple of times, a few years ago.
You're going to be there in the morning. Just a few minutes from Hollywood, in the town of San Fernando, reports have come in of saucers flying so low the exhaust knocked people to the ground. There have even been stated claims of saucer landing. Major Carlson will replace you with
the sand.
this man for the job of attempting to
the sand.
see what in the hell it is they want. All right, sir.
The sand.
These are confidential reports, but don't read them over carefully. Only
Lemon,
try
lemon,
to
lemon,
get
lemon,
more
lemon,
intelligence when you
lemon,
get
lemon,
closer. You'll have further orders to
the sand.
Colonel Edwards?
誰にもわかんないでしょうね。
Good luck. Thank you, sir.
初代ルパン三世のオープニングなんて。ガンガンガンガン。若い命が真っ赤に燃えて。ゲータスパーク遊んでてくく。見たかがたい。ゲータの問題。ガッツゲータが三つのところが一つになれば一つの理想直線には100万パワー愛く許すなジェットパンチジェットジェットジェットジェットのボーチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャチャ
That was the only option.
Your other ships elsewhere. Even though you have
空にそびる船の城
you Eros
つばむとマジンガー Z 無敵の力は僕らのために
Everything is on our side.
正義の心で騙せ敵のロケットパンチ今だ出すんだブレストファイアート
Something must be done about that.
困ったら歌う困らなくても歌うとりあえず歌ってけ
He's close enough. Turn off your electrode gun. No! No! Stop him, Dennis!
I can't get it, it's jammed!
Stop him, you fool!
Drop the gun to the floor, Tanner. The metal will break contact.
That was too close.
Yes. Bring the giant here that I may get a better look at him.
Sure. Sure.
Yes,
もうなんか脳死で適当に話しとったらね、何言いたいのか分からんようになってね、結局は題が尽きるっていうね。
One is a woman, the other an old man.
ああ、そう。
An old man, you say?
天気、いいっすね。天気もあんま興味ないっすよ。天気興味ある人ってそんなにいない。
Make sure it's in working order before pointing it at him.
天気気にせず、興味せず、興味持たずで、まあ、会社の方行ったら、こう、お昼時に雨降ってきて、雨降ってる中、傘もささずに飯買いに行ったっていうのがありましたけどもね。
The old one must be sacrificed.
天気はやっぱ気にした方がいいですね、ほんま。興味あるなし関わらず。何話してんだこいつ。ロマン、ロマン、ロマン、じゃじゃ絵の袋、じゃじゃ絵の袋、ロマン、ロマン、ロマン、ロマン、じゃじゃ絵の袋、じゃじゃ絵の袋、ダメダメダメダメダメダメダメじゃじゃ絵の袋、じゃじゃ絵の袋、ロマン、ロマン、ロマン、ロマン、じゃじゃ絵の袋、じゃじゃ絵の袋、今くはラブとるわ。そこに行けばどんな夢も叶うというよ。誰も見ない友人だけ遥かな世界、その国の名はガンダラ、どこかにあるユートピア、どうしたら行けるのだろう、教えてほしい。インガンダThey say it was in India. ガンダラ愛の国ガンダラ They say it was in India. ガンダラ愛の国ガンダラ
We could only feel the pressure of the wind until it was gone. When the glare left us, we could see a glowing ball disappearing off the distance. Toward the cemetery.
と。何やつや。ちゃちっちゃな頃からはがちで15年冬ばりたよ。みんな傷つけた。わかってくれとは言えないか。そんなに俺が悪いのか。7倍おやすみよ。いざいざハートの子守歌。俺とあの子と二人して街を出ようと決めたのさ。駅のホームで捕まって力任せに殴られた。わかってくれとは言わないが、そんなに俺が悪いのか。7倍おやすみよ。いざいざハートの子守歌。バイクで仲間が死んだのさ。とってもいいやつだったのに、ガンドレールに花咲けて青春あわよとつぶやいた。 ああ、わかってくれとは言わないが、そんなに俺が悪いのか。長ばいおやすみよ。ギザギザハートの子守歌と。困ったら歌う。
What do you make of that? She cut me. Didn't look that way a minute ago.
で、その歌う曲は皆様にはわからないと。
He'll be all right in a few minutes. Did you see that thing? Did you get it?
We got it.
What was it? It didn't fall. I fired every bullet I had.
So did I. I don't know what it was or what happened. But unless that bag of bones over there can reassemble itself, it's out of the running now.
Colonel, I've been out here so often you think I've taken a lease on this place.
Not a long lease, I hope.
I see what you mean. But you know, I can't help but feel the answers out here somewhere.
Is the girl
See.
safe?
どうせ夏が胸を刺激する。
Not on your life.
まあめいろ。ラストこなしていたわわに実ったら、本物の恋もやりそうかい。うんせい。たたたたたたたうんせい。お前しかし。
Well, I don't like it, but I guess there isn't much I
じゃ
can
ん
do
じゃ
about
ん。
it.
じゃん。シャレって感じのはかないで。韓国でパーティーがあったとさ。韓国バンドがジャンプすにゃ。石の神さえスイングするレッツロー。みんなでレッツロー。さあさみんなで一緒に踊ろよ韓国ロー。様てか、ちゃんと歌ってたはずやのに歌詞を忘れると。
Would expect to find out
あれ
here.
だね。
Well, there's only one answer to that, Mr. Trent. We'll know when we find it. Inspector Clay's grave right over here.
Is that the one you told me was broken into?
Yes.
違えた。
This it?
Yeah.
Looks to me like someone had broken out instead of in.
I figured that.
今、
That's impossible.
どうしたらね、
Look, Colonel, some things just
会
can't
話ってう
happen.
まく
Yeah,
できる
well,
んで
after
しょう
that
かね。
apparition that was draped across Mr. Trent's patio, I would say we should keep our minds open to anything.
Look, Colonel, I'm a policeman. I've got to deal in facts. But I guess I'll have to go along with you. You know, I'll bet my badge right now. We haven't seen the last of those weirdies.
They'll discover our ship soon.
You're going to let them find us?
It's the only way. These are the same men who have been so close so often. They must be halted before they can inform others about us.
But there were others in the car.
They'll be taken too.
よいしょ。
Send the big one for the girl and the policeman. I'll turn on the diclorobatory so we may converse with them.
これよう考えたら配信でやることちゃうな。これ今、プラン9終わるまではやるやつは。今更ですけど。ほんま今更やな。今。
So maybe we're barking up the wrong tree. One thing a policeman learns, Mr. Trent, is patience.
Where's that burn spot you mentioned?
Right over the... Look.
足の人生常反省会。 あいつの唇優しく抱きしめてくれとねだる瞳の奥に獲物を映して寂しく問いかける愛のありかどこには自分の世界がある例えるなら空をかける一筋の流れ星アルバンザさんでしょ。ちょいね、ちょいね。そうでやってる方のラジオを聞いてちょい勉強しにゃならんね。ハモエさん、こんにちは、いらっしゃい。おはようございます。
ハモ、SEH さん、おはようございます。なぜエドウッドを流しながら
まあ、経緯を簡単に、説明しますとですね、ゲーミングお嬢様いう、漫画ありましてね、で、それで映画流しながらなんかやってると、こう、時間のやつが分かりやすいとか、そういうのをちょっとどめたんで、それで配信に流しながら、配信に垂れ流しながらちょっと見れる映画なんや思ったら、エドウッドだなって。なんでだろうね、ほんとね。あっしはもう自分のことがわかんないよ。ほんとわかんねえよ。いや、あと、こう、ウィキペディアに置いてあったっていうのも大きかったですね。本当はこう、メトロポリスとかもうちょいいいやつも考えたんですけど、ウィキペディアにはなかったと。なんで今、足が流せる映画は、プラン9とグレンとグレンダーという、どちらもエドウッド作品の映画なんですけどもね。よいしょ。わかりやすくまとめて言いますと、エドウッドタイマーというわけでございます。エドウッドタイマーってなんじゃ私。よいしょ。誰も知らない、知ったこっちゃない。エドウッド映画を流しながらゲームやってるのなぜなのかと。誰も知らない。私も知らない。どうしてエドウッドなのかと。ね。個人的には嫌いやないっていう方も多いんですけどね、エドウッドさん。
SEH さん、新名のエドウッドタイマー。
使っていいですよ、ハモエさん。使いなさい。そして広めなさい、エドウッド。プラン9よ。クソ映画。よいしょ。ね、確かこの映画1時間20分ぐらいと比較的短いんでタイマーにはちょうどいいとは思いますよ、ほんと。こう裏でタイマー代わりに流すにはマジでちょうどいいとは思います。あんま深いってわけでもないですし、こうグロいのがあるってわけではないですし。みんなも流してみよう、エドウッドタイマー。よいしょ。
We did not come here as enemies. We came only with friendly intentions. To talk,
あんまりさん。
ハモ、SEH さん、プラン9は DVD 持ってる。
あ、持ってるんですか。なぜ？いや、まあ、足もね、こう、ウィキペディアに動画落ちてるとは知らずに、レンタル落ちのやつ買いましたけども。なぜ？なぜ持ってるんですか？流しましょう。釣れますか？多分。映画好きが。よいしょ。よいしょ。ブラン。まあなんかいい感じのパブリックドメインの映画ありましたらね、教えてくださったら本当助かるんですけどね。こう足的にも視聴者様的にもよっこいしょ1。
Your scientists will stumble upon it as they have all the others. But the juvenile minds which you possess will not comprehend its strength until it's too late.
You're way above our heads.
The solar night is a way to explode the actual particles of sunlight.
But that's impossible.
Even now, your scientists are working on a way to harness the sun's rays. The rays of sunlight are minute particles.
よう考えたらあれでございますね。パブリックドメインの映画でしたが、こう、一つの枠で同時視聴的なのできるからいい感じですね。ローマの休日とか、そういう名作映画やるの。まあ、私はそこでこういう映画を選ぶっていうのがね、悪い癖なんですけど。
ハモ、SEH さん、パブリックドメインは調べたことなかった。白黒時代のはあんまり詳しくないんですよね。
いや、そんな、あれなんですかね。こう、流すっていう発想やっぱあんまりないんですかね、皆様。まあ普通ないわな。いやでもあれですね、こう、話のネタにはできるっていうのが強みですよね。こうパブリックドメインは流しながら話のネタにっていう。まあ足もそんな、白黒時代と申しますか、映画の方あんまり詳しくはないんですよね。こう、メタルマンの人でしたっけか。まあ、サイラムのブログの方で仕事している方の、まあ、前世内臓時代の動画でちょっと知った感じなんですけども。まあ、人のせいでね、Amazon プライムビデオのアイアンマンのこうパッケージ見て、メタルマンや思って笑ってしまったっていうのがありましてね。精神汚染と。よいしょ。
The flame will speedily travel around the Earth, back along the line of gasoline to the can, or the sun itself. It will explode this source and spread to every place.
配信してみてちょっと分かってください。字幕邪魔やな。
Explode the sunlight here, gentlemen.
ハモ、SEH さん、ハットさんのニコニコ時代ですね。
そう、ニコニコ時代のやつ。あれめっちゃ好きで、まあ、いつ消すかっていうのも、まあ聞いてたんですけど、保存し忘れちゃいましてね。フィギュアットメイトの曲に合わせてクソ映画紹介するっていうオープニング結構好きでしたね、足。ラストにエンドウッドっていうやつ。歳がバレる。足の歳がバレちまう。まあその人の影響でね、結構映画見るようにはなったんですけどね。まあサメ映画とかね。個人的には名作やと思ってるんですけど、まあ足の興味が出る映画っていうのが賛否両論とかそういうのばっかなんでね、話が合わないと で、まあ、その人の影響でサメ映画とかを見始めまして、シン・ジョーズとか、シャークトパスだとか。で、まあ、足は友達の話か。まあ、サメ映画ばっか見てた時期があったんですけど、でも、ジョーズは見てなかったという。なんでやなんでやほんまなんでや。
What happened to you?
How come you're all alone? I asked for lots of help.
You sounded drunk or something on the radio.
I didn't see it with my
かっ
own
こ
eyes.
いい、
I
小
never
一。
believed it. What? It was horrible. And he almost broke my shoulder.
Look, what are you trying to say? If you don't make sense, we'll never get to the bottom of this. Now who
よい
slugged
し
you?
ょ。
Inspector Clay.
あの動画良かったですよね、ハッ
It
トさ
was
んの。
Clay, all right. Only not like we remembered him. Well, his leg was busted into, wasn't it?
まあ、今の動画も、面白いんですけども、
Now I know you're off your rock.
やっぱあの時代のは、こう、無法ゆえの面白さというものがありましてね。
Mr. Trenner's gone. I was left here.
まあ今も語彙力はあれですけども、やっぱり画面のカオスさといったら、やっぱりあの時代の方が上やっていうのがありますね。
Where are they going?
Off that way. Come on.
まあ著作権意識いうのは大事なわけではありますけども、やはり著作権とかそういうのを無視してる時代のやつの方が自由にできる分面白いものが多いって思うのがね。
ハモ SEH さん上手好き。前半サメパニックで後半は海洋冒険男の世界になるところとか。
へー。私、ジョーズは見たことないんですよね。シンとジュラシックの方は見たことあるんですけども。今度見ようかな。Amazon プライムにありますかね。
So it seems you think you have the upper hand.
ちょっとね、今、TSUTAYAのカード、期限切れてたかなっていうのがありまして、
Jeff.
まあ、作り直せばいいっていう話なんですけども。シャークトパスとかどうですかね。私結構好きな映画に入るんですけども。ヒロインの女性の方が、シャークトパスの名前の、女性の方の幼い頃に付けられてた、言われてた名前が後半になって回収されるっていうの、個人的には結構好きなんですよね。ああいうベタな展開。
It's
わか
Clay,
り
all
ますか
right.
ね。
There's no mistaking that.
And he's got Mrs. Trent.
Get your gun ready.
From all I've seen tonight,
早口なオタクや、
Clay is dead.
シャークトパスで早口なオタクが出てもうたらシャークトパスで。
Dead. And yet there he stands. That other
でも
one earlier,
S11 いいですよ
who
ね、
clipped it?
I'm
S11。
seeing it. That's the only reason I'm listening to you. Look, I've got an idea.
ハモ SEH さん、アマプレにはレンタル版しかないようですね。
あー、レンタル版。
That ought to make a move.
いや、レンタル版でも前か。
Even when Clay was alive, he couldn't run fast enough to catch me. So when he does, you grab Mrs. Trent and run
そこ
like
ま
like
で
anything
面
else.
白さに違い出たりとかしないでしょうし。
Know of anything else to try?
いるか。機械やし。なんでシャークトパスとかそういうの見て、大元のジョーズ見てないの私。なんでや。
Take care of the others.
わか
Your men have felled
る。
the
何もわか
This could only happen because the electrode ray is
る。し
off.
ょう。
He'll walk again when I turn it
ゾー
on.
ナス。
Hold it.
ゾーナスって
Right
なんだ
there.
Suppose the lieutenant and the others are in that thing.
Well, supposing there are Martians or something in there.
ハモ SEH さん、シャークトパスを見たような見てないような。サメ映画はそこまで見てるわけじゃないけど、記憶がごっちゃになってる。
あー、そうですわな。サメ映画って大体大元はジョーズと一緒やってハットさん言ってましたし、ストーリー実際、シャークトパスもシン・ジョーズも同じような感じに進んでましたしね。しゃあないしゃあない。記憶ごっちゃになるのはしゃあない。似てる話だから。大体ビーキ、サメが来てっていうので話進んでいきますからね。 と寒なってきたんで湯たんぽ取ってきます。
Get out of here, Jeff. The ship's on fire.
電気湯たんぽリリングで最高の文化。ち、覚えた。
かも、SEH さん。でも、実際には、ジョーズ後半を踏襲してる映画はあんまりないんですよ。前半の分かりやすい部分は真似られてるけど。
そうなの。ジョーズ見たことないかわかんないけど、そうなんですか。前半の分かりやすい。ヒレが出てくるとことかね。分かりやすいところだけ真似るっていうのはようある話ではありますね。プロム作品のソウルシリーズとかも死に覚えゲーやいうところは真似られて、ゆるい感じのつながりいうのはあんま真似られてないっていうのがありますし、分かりやすいところだけ真似られるっていうのは、多々ある話だと思いますね、あっし。分かりやすいのもありますけど、あれですね、予算とかそういうのもありますからね、サメ映画。そういうので、ラスト爆発あそこら辺のとこが真似しにくいっていうのもありますし、あとやっぱり監督、スピルバーグがそうじゃないかっていうのも大きいでしょうかね、本当。ロジャー・コーマン先生の監督の作品が嫌いってわけじゃないですし、好きなんですけども、サメ映画しか見たことないわけですけども。なんでグラブル枠でクソ映画の話をやんないのせいか。電気湯たんぽの上で正座をしながらグラブルをやる。多分世界で足だけ。マリオッタ。ちょい待ってくださいね。せっかくだし、次のやつもやっとこう。
SEH さん、プラン9巻。
てなわけで次はグレンとグレンダいきます。よいしょ。Twitter の方でも。ちょい待ってくださいね。どうやってちょっとデスクトップ音声をどうにして、こんなもんなってない。 そういや、音声の方今大丈夫ですか？なんか、軽く聞いたところ、ミュートちゃうわ。エコーになってたような。URL 貼るときにいちいちね、開いてコピーしてるんですけどね。その時エコーになっとったような気がしたんですけど、どうですかね。
Man's constant groping of things unknown, drawing from the endless reaches of time, brings to light many startling things. Startling because they seem new.
Black again.
Sudden. But most are not new.
ハモ、SEH さん、エコーなってますね。
なってます？
そういう声の調整かと思って
ただ単に慣れてないだけですね。なんでや。そういうことか。こっちでミュートなってるよな。試しにデスクトップの音声の方を0にしてみました。どうですかね？直りましたかね？これやとちょっと読み上げの方がそっちの方に入らないって事態になるんですけど、まあ、問題ないか。問題ない？多分。恥ずかしい。まだ恥ずかしかねえ、ほんとね。
Life has begun.
直りました？やっぱりあれか。デスクトップのやつか。ということは、音声は入ってますから、井上菊子さんの声、棒読みちゃんでちょっと読み上げ、コメント読み上げるようにしてるんですけども、そっちはもう聞こえないようになってますかね。パソコンようわからん。おじさんだから。だって、ほら、おじさんだから。おじさんやないよ。20代だよ。僕、ロマン20歳、20代です。おいおいと。はい、これ昨日もやりましたと。ネタがね、何遍も使い回してね、煎じても味がしなくなるぐらい煎じてはまだ煎じてきますからね。聞こえなくなった。しゃあなしか。しゃあなしじゃ。あとでちょいやり方調べとこう。よいしょ。どなたかコメント読み上げ詳しい方いるかな？あとでちょっとツイッターの方で聞いてみよう。今んとこあっちが見てる V の方々、コメント読み上げを採用してるっちゅう方がね、ゼロな感じなんでね。よいしょ。一応今、コメントの方を読み上げ、こっちの方には入っているように設定してるんでね。一応、聞き逃すことはないようになってますけども。井上菊子を独り占めっちゅうね。いいね、これなかなか。気持ち悪いオタク出てきた。
I was put in jail recently. Why? because I, a man, was caught on the street wearing women's clothing. This was my 4th arrest for the same act. In life, I must continue wearing them. Therefore, it would only be a matter of time until my next arrest. This is the only way. Let my body rest in death forever in the things I cannot wear in life.
Sure.
Inspector Warren is here to see you, Dr. Alton.
Oh, yes. Show him in, Miss Stevens.
Sure.
Inspector? Doctor? Sit down. Thank you. You're a very busy man.
ああ、わかりました。ありがとうございますね、本当。もともとそういうのでも大丈夫だよっていう感じで、VTuber 始めましたんで、作業 BGM になるんでしたら、まあ幸いでございます。まあ足の声が言うよりも、正直、プラン9とグレンとグレンナーが作業 BGM になるって感じでしょうけど。歌詞カオスやの。カオスやの。
I'm a man who thrives on learning. We only have one life to live. We throw that one away. What is there left? Doctor, I'm hoping to learn something from you. And with that knowledge, maybe save some humans from a fate which I just witnessed a few days ago. A 4-time loser. This type of case comes to me as well as yourself many times during the course of 1 month. The suicide? The suicide. Most of us have our idiosyncrasies. This fellow's was quite pronounced. Yes, but I wonder if it rated the death warrant it received. Well, that's why I'm here today, Doctor. What do we do about it? I've always heard you to be a hard-hearted policeman, Inspector. Isn't that what's thought of most policemen? The laws are written. Policeman is hired to see that those laws are enforced. We have a job to do. As in most jobs, there's always somebody who doesn't want that job to be done. In most factories today, the employer has put up suggestion boxes. Even the employer needs advice once in a while. I think in the case that we're referring to, I need advice. Maybe it shouldn't have happened as it did. But it did. Perhaps the next time we can prevent it. Let's get our story straight. You're referring to the suicide of the transvestite? If that's the word you men of medical science use for a man who wears woman's clothing, yes. Yes, in cold, technical language, that's the word. As unfriendly and as vicious as it may sound. However, in actuality, it's not an unfriendly word, nor is it vicious when you know the people to whom it pertains. Would this operation do these people any good? I understand you were quite prominent in a case that hit the headlines a few weeks ago. Some cases, yes. Others, no. Well, the papers certainly had a field day with that one. Strange as it may seem, even though it was a field day, as you so aptly put it, it's not a new story. Sex change has been performed many times. Those whose sex can be changed, they're the easy ones. But what of those who so desperately want to be of the opposite sex, yet can't change their sex? Such as was the case with Patricia, the suicide. I'd like to understand this, Doctor, as best you can tell me. You can only fully understand the sex change by taking two entirely different cases. Two men with exactly the same background, from childhood to manhood and on to their own decisions and destinations. I'd like to hear the story to the fullest. Only the infinity of the depths of a man's mind can really tell the story.
The words of the All-Wise.
No one can really tell the story. すごい。ザクと同じくらいのエネルギー。ザクの何倍やっけ。気づいて話しちゃダメダメよってね。と間違えた。よいしょよいしょばっか言ってばっかやな。おっさんか。おっさんちゃうよ。20代よ。で、僕、20歳。20歳ちゃう。20代。20歳でいいか。20歳です。おいおい。これ持ちネタにしてる V って多分いないですよね。仮にいたとしたらおっさんですよな。おっさんじゃないよ。足おっさんじゃないよ。よいしょ。背中は四十肩。四十肩。四十肩。肩が痛い。3。どう考えてもおっさん。20代です。あ、はい。何もわからないよね。若者よ見ているか、成長するということはな、こう肩が上がらなくなるということなのだよ。それが成長。成長、現実。老化。成長とは老化のことなり。ね、肩が上がらなくなったりだとかね、階段の上り下りがきつくなったりとかね、そういうのがまあ成長と思った方がいいよね。成長と思って自分をごまかしていけ、自分をどんどんごまかしていけと。なんて言ったってね、現実なんて見たってそこまでいいものでもない。ならば自分に嘘をついていけと。私はそう言いたい。現実見ても誰も助けてくれない。だから私は嘘をつく。自分に対して嘘をつく。ですね。プラスにマイナスなんだよ。前向きに後ろ向きなんだよね。ほんとね。
He dares to enter the street dressed in the clothes he so much desires to wear, but only if he really appears female. The long hair, the makeup, the clothing, the actual contours of a girl. Most transvestites do not want to change their life, their bodies. Many of them simply want to change the clothing they wear to that is worn by the opposite sex. Glenn is engaged to be married to Barbara.
気のせいか、グレンとグレンダにした瞬間、視聴者数が増えた。不安ないよね、グレンとグレンダか。ほんまかいや、まさか。まさか。
I wish we were, darling. It's been a long year.
For both of us.
But now, my studies are through, college is concluded, and I'm free at last.
あ、さおとみさんいらっしゃいませ。
Huh? Oh.
どうとね、なんとなくで流したいな思っとったのがなんでか声やったからね、流してるんですよね。今んとこ準備できてるのがプラン9と今流してるグレンとブレンダなんですけども、興味ね、これ渋い言うていいんですかね。 かなり古いですからね。多分ですけど、皆様方が生まれる前の作品でございますよね。なんでそんなん流してるのはね。正味代にも通じなくてね、こう低評価をされるのを、まあ、覚悟してたんですけどね。
Men's hats are so tight they cut off the blood flow to the head, thus cutting off the growth of hair. 7 out of 10 men wear a hat, so the advertisements say. 7 out of 10 men are bald. But what about the ladies? Yes, modern woman is a hard-working individual also, but when modern woman's day of work is done, that which is designed for her own comfort is comfort.
正味ね、エドッド作品真面目に見るには向いていない枠だと思っています。タイマーとして使ってますからね。みんな DVD 買ってけ、もしくは Amazon プライムで見てけ。見てけ見てけ。
lesser civilized part of the world,
the
male who adorns himself with the fancy objects such as paints, frills, and masks. The true instinct, the animal instinct, bird and animal life. Is it not so that it's the male who is the fancy one? Could it be that the male was meant to attract the attention of the female? What's so wrong about that?
全然にわからんに見たことないんですけど。あれでしたっけ、墓場に迷い込んだアベックが、こう、なんかようわからん女の裸見て、なんか恐怖したりとか、そういう感じのやつでしたっけか。なんとなくで思いついたのを突っ込んでるだけなんで、あんま詳しくないんですよ。すいません。今度見ようか。
As long as it can be distinguished that man is man and woman is woman. But what is it that would happen were this individual to appear this way on the street? You're doing it now.
相棒だったかな。あれのまあキャプチャー画像で見たんですけども、右京さんがなんか作業している時にこうプラン内に流してたら結構集中できるっていうのをなんか言ってた記憶ありまして、でまあ実際こうして配信で流してみたところ、なんか程よい環境音と申しますか、足の無言時間をちょうどよく埋めてくれる感じと申しますかね、かなり機能してますんで、皆様ぜひぜひどんどんパクっていってくださいまし。そして広めようエドッドの輪と。どんどん広めてけ、エドッド。多分もうね、これ流しても批判する人そんないないと思いますんでね。いやまあ結構有名な方だったらどうかな。批判来るんかな、やっぱ。どんぐらいやった。もうちょい。せい。
I wish I had the sight into such things to be able to advise you, Sheila. Maybe if you took the problem to a doctor, it's splendid.
あまり魅力的な体型ではない。そうなんですか。ひどい言い方や。
It's not really hard to believe.
ガチ眠くなるんでしたらあれですね。眠れない時とかに流すといい感じなんですかね。でもそうなったらなんか悪夢とか見そうやな。資料のボンドイってあれパブリックドメインでしたっけ？ちょっと調べよう。よいしょ。資料のボンドにパブドメインと
Glenn is a transvestite, but he is not a homosexual. Transvestism is the term given by medical science to those persons who desperately wish to wear the clothing of the opposite sex, yet whose sex life in all instances remains quite normal. Would you be surprised a tough individual was wearing pink satin undies under his rough exterior clothing? He is. Then there is your friend the milkman, who knows how to find comfort at home.
I can't stand it any longer. He wears all my clothes. Nothing is sacred to him.
睡眠導入剤。水睡眠導入剤というね。副作用とかはないんでしょうか。まあ、そこら辺はいい感じなんですかね。あるかなね。なんかパッと見た感じ、まだパブリックでもないっていう感じですかね。ちょっと治療の盆踊りパブリックドメインで調べても詳細の方出てこなかったんで、多分まだパブリックドメインにはなっていないということで。まあ、パブリックドメインやったとしても、流すことができるかっちゅうたら、まあ無理ですわね。YouTube くんにバンされますわな。よいしょ。せい。しかし謎な枠だ。グラブルとエドウッド作品を並べる。こんなにわけのわからないことはない。よいしょ。よいしょ。よいしょ。
Our fourth term in psychology explains a lot of the facts, but I'm afraid the end of study is only the beginning of reality.
Glenn's problem is a deep one, but he must tell her soon. She's begun to notice things. His nails, his eyes when he looks into a ladies' store window. So many of the little things that are hard to hide. Soon she will realize.
そうや、睡眠導入剤ね、足ちょっとね、使おうかなーって、ちょっと眠るのが浅いと思う。まあ、そういうので、ちょっとね。クソ映画ホイホイ言う。いや、まあ、クソ映画言うてもね、嫌いではないっていうのが多いでしょうけどね。実際のところ映画そんなねクソかクソでないかで嫌ってる方はそんないないでしょうけども、アッシュはデビル・ジョーズは嫌いですと。嫌いなもん話すのもあれな話ではありますけど、デビル・ジョーズはダメだったと。まあ、何を言いたいんやアッシュは。
I'm afraid to tell you.
Sure.
I'm afraid I'd lose
you. なんか流せる映画が他ありますかね。パブリックドメインでいい感じに作業の邪魔をしないやつ。
I really hope not.
Glenn, is it another woman?
みんなどんどん真似してけ、エドウッド作品へ。エドウッド作品を真似しちゃったんだ。高評価する。なんか浅く狭くでそこは深い的な感じの謎な枠ができますな、それ。 そういや、ハモエさん、あれでしたっけ、幻の湖もなんかおすすめしてましたな。自己紹介動画の方。あれってどういう感じの映画なんですかね。名前はちらっと聞いたことあるぐらいなんですけど、Amazon プライムあるか。
There's so many problems for Glenn and all the other Glens. Perhaps the fear of discovery of the underthings they wear beneath their regular outer clothing, or that which they wear during their nightly visit to Morpheus, god of sleep.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure she's going to enjoy it very much. If you want to return it, be sure that you bring the sales slip. Thank you.
ロボットモンスター。ちょっと待ってください。ちょっと作業ってこれやって、ロボットモンスター。
Black? Very sure.
Well, we have this here. Would you like that? Something like this?
チープ映画。
Perhaps he admires the material too long.
You can see how sheer the material really is.
Yes.
You see, it's all
Amazon
pure nylon
プライム。
and only
あるんか。
$21.95. And of course, it will never snag.
じゃあこれロボット 2.0 や。で、ロボットモンスター。ロボットモンスター。
And all the Glens and Glendas have an even bigger problem.
Hi, Joe. Monday again. You know, I think Monday is about the worst day of the week. A perfectly wonderful weekend, then back to the sweatshops. Too bad we was born to work. Say, did you read about the guy that aims to a girl? Says he was perfectly normal. How can a guy be normal and go and do a thing like that to himself? All the same.
いいページ見つけた。
That's a problem I don't ever intend to face. Maybe it's a problem we should all face. I don't get you. Just think of the unhappy life. The miserable time this world of ours must have given that poor guy. I still don't get you. Now, here is a guy who wanted to be a girl. Supposing there had been no way to change. You sound as if you're really head up on this thing. I guess I am. Do you realize that man in a country that wanted to wear women's clothes or felt like a woman went to the doctors and wanted to change? Of course.
でも、その説明でちょっと気になってくるのがずるいな。やっぱあれですね。名作と申します。名作とはちょっと言いづらい映画好きな方って、紹介の仕方がうまいような気がしますね、ほんま。よいしょ。今、あっちゃうわ。
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Johnny.
Come on in and hit it right for the kitchen. I can't let that dinner burn. You know, I thought I was going to have to eat alone tonight.
Well, you probably will because I've already eaten.
Internet Archive Film.
What's up?
Nothing much.
Say, you really look down in the dumps.
I guess I got a problem.
Haven't we
ちょ
all?
っと待ってね。
I mean a real problem, one like I've never had to face before.
Our whole existence is one big problem after another.
I want to get married.
You have a problem. When did this all come about?
For nearly a year I've been engaged to a very wonderful girl. Now the time is getting very close to the man with the book. I'm scared to death.
You love her?
Very much.
Does she love you?
Yes.
There's no problem. Marry the girl.
Are you forgetting about my other self?
You'll have to tell her, of course.
Yeah. I have to tell her.
あー、消しちゃった。なんか。
Before or after?
I think you know the answer to that one yourself.
My mind's in a muddle. Like in a thick fog. I can't make sense to myself sometimes.
なんでここからなら、
I tried, honestly, I tried.
ウィキペ
I haven't had a stitch of them on for nearly 2 weeks until tonight.
ドンされてる
Then I
映
couldn't
画
stand it anymore. I had to put them on or go out of my mind.
パブリックの映画引っ張
I'm
っ
afraid
れる
I'll
っ
lose.
ぽいです。
I don't want that to happen because I really love her.
Okay,
と
here's a story from fact.
脊髄で話しとったら
Johnny tells his story. He had not too long ago been married himself. He had kept quiet about his transvestite
こう
desires
ね、
in the hopes that the new wife would never discover.
パブリックの映画をね、引っ張ってきて
One
ね、
day, the little woman came home
皆様
unexpectedly
どんどん
an
ね、
hour
こ
early.
う、一緒に流して一緒に広めていこうなっていうね。せ
That marriage ended here.
だいぶ
Will your problem be like mine?
よいしょ。
Most probably it will. Because a love hasn't been built up for such a thing.
しかしまああれですな、カオスで
Your
す
wife,
な。
she will not have been taught
好き
enough
勝手にやってっていう
problems
の
to
で、
cope with it.
Glenda must now make her
なんじゃ
decision
この枠。
or forever forget the marriage to Barbara. Glenda should consult a competent psychiatrist, but then very few transvestites wish to change their strange desires. This is their life. To take it away from them might do as great a harm as taking away an arm or a leg, or life itself. Many even carry their
こう
transvestite
始まりの挨
desires to
拶
the
とか
grave
も
with
ね、
them.
全く決まってないんですよね。
Yes, it is a problem. But Glenda, remember back almost a year ago when Glenn and Barbara accepted each other?
That's the 6th time you've said goodnight.
I guess it is. Look. Come on over here.
What is it?
Never mind, just sit down.
なんや、皆さんめっちゃイケイケして。
Oh, I was beginning to think you'd never get around to it.
Do you think you will?
What do you think?
なんかあれですね、なんかハモエさん作業する言うてましたけど、これ邪魔なってますね。興味的な
You
感
must
じで。
finish college first. It's only 7 months to go.
Well, now that's hardly long enough for you to get a truce.
リビングデッドの夜ですかね、ナイト・オブ・ザ・リビング・デッド。あ、埋め込まれてる。ほんまや。
Glenn, what's the matter?
Huh?
All of a sudden, you seem 1,000 miles
固定しと
off.
こ
Yes, I guess I was, huh? That's a mighty pretty dress
う。
you're
ロス
wearing
ト
tonight.
ワール
I wear my best to please you.
You know, when you look at me, you just
Stop.
tie me in knots.
I love to tie you a knot. Oh, I'll be so happy when these next few months are over.
まあね、ちょっと足が引っ張ってきたやつ、英語の URL の
Stop
方なん
kissing
で
me
ね、
goodbye at the door every night.
Yes,
ちょっと呼びにくいなっていうのはありますけど、
You
ど
always.
うやって日本語に変えるかおっちゃんわかんない。機械音痴、おっちゃん。おっちゃんにはないよ。20代、20代。江戸黒マン20代です。おいおい、何回も引っ張ると。なんか、作業の邪魔しちゃったみたいで申し訳ない。
He eats little boys. Puppy ducktails and big fat snails.
あ、これ、待って、どうつね。
Beware.
よ からいろいろと引っ張ってきてで、映画流しながら、こう実況やったりとかできますね。好き勝手にやるっていうのがなんか VTuber としての魅力とかいうの見ましたけど、多分足許される範囲に一番好き勝手してる V ですな。よいしょ。吸血鬼の巣。ちょっと普段見てたインターネットブラウザ、間違えた。普段見てるインターネットブラウザどっか消えちゃったの。この配信終わったら、また探さにゃな。よいしょ。よっこいしょ。よいしょ。ネプチューン。もうちょいためが間に合わな。
Tell me, dragon. Do you eat little boys? Puppy ducktails and big fat snails?
Puppy ducktail, puppy ducktail, puppy ducktail. Everything nice, everything nice. Ha ha ha. Puppy
吸血鬼のスペラと。こんねこまれてんや。好きですよね。応援頑張れ頑張れ。そうそう。別にどこもあった方がいい。小鳥ちゃん、科学忍法火の鳥だ。一日ラッチャマン。これ果たして皆様作業しているのか映画見ちゃってるのかわかんない状態ですけど、よいしょ。 埋め込まれてるのっていうかなんかね。あ、これ今、ウィキペディア漁るのに夢中になってる感じですね、これ。よいしょ。あれですね、ウィキペディアってなんか時間泥棒とかいうのを、なんか見てたら時間すぐ解けるとか言いますけど、もうなんかその通りっぽいですね。足はなんて悪魔なものを解き放ってしまったんや。やっちまった。やっちまった。なんや。皆様幸せそうだからええや。ああ、やっぱり時間解けちゃってるか。映画で。あ、作業。うん。足は何も言うまいよ。言うまいがほどほどにとは言うよ。もういっぱいある。実際あれですもんね。ウィキペディアって実質作品紹介とこう作品、足が今振ったの作品そのものがありますからね。しゃあないしゃあない。足がやってんのも作業ですし、正味ね、足もかなり弱い方なんでね。足もつか足はかなり弱い方なんでね。正味グラブの話題よりも映画の話題の方がなぜか盛り上がれるという謎な枠になってまいりましたけども。謎ですな。今後も雑談とか作業枠、こういう、映画で映画流しながらやるかな思うんですけど、どうですかね。いい感じですかね。でもこれあれですな、多分視聴者狭めるやつですな。ええか。昭和カメラ全部パブリック。マジそれ。マジで今、カメラ、よいしょ。今、画面が、これ、どうなんじゃ？
I don't fully understand this, but maybe together we can work it out.
多分、ちょっとわかんねえっすわ。画面が、パブリック。埋め込まれてるの、ありました？何ページ？ 何ページ
Is that the end of the story? Not quite. I'll get back to it in a minute. Glenn's case is really the lesser advanced type cases. The second case is an extremely advanced one. However, I'll get to that in a moment. First, you must realize that each transvestite the world over has his own particular problem. Each case must be handled individually according to the person, his
本
past
当に
life,
ね、
and
一部だけなんですよ
his
ね、それ。
problem. He isn't a hermaphrodite, no more than he's a
足は
pseudo-hermaphrodite.
皆様みたいにね、一部だけなんですよね、刺さんの。まあ、それでも足はいいんですけどね。
What about their children, Doctor?
こうやって盛り上がれるわけですし、皆様で見れるわけですから。
What makes these men want to wear girls' clothes?
Many things.
でもあれか、今やったらローマの休日とかも確かパブリックなんか。いや、流せるな。作業には流せないけど流せるな。チャンスですな、これは。
Once the source of supply is found, it can be stopped, unless the patient refuses to cut off that source of supply.
Then the way I get it, this Glenn and the character he created, much as an author creates a character in a book, was invented as a love object to take the place of the love he never received in his early youth through lack of it from his parents. The character was created and dressed and lives the life the author designs for him to live, and dies only when the author wants him to die.
Correct. Except that for the character Glenda to die, the elements must be right. But to enlighten you a little further, there's the second story, that of an extremely advanced case. Let's call this person Alan. Alan had a mother who wanted a little girl. The father didn't care much one way or the other. Alan did not enter the competitive sports that the other boys at the school did. However, he was an extremely studious boy and always had above average marks in his subjects. Yet sports, girls' sports, he always was interested in. But he was rejected by the girls and also rejected by the boys. It seems he belonged to neither of them. After school, Alan would go home to find the mother who had always wanted a girl and the father who didn't care one way or the other. He enjoyed doing the woman's work around the house. Alan was becoming a woman and didn't realize it. A woman in mind only, but the mind rules. Then came the fateful year of 1941. Alan was drafted. He was accepted. In the Army, he successfully passed his vigorous training. Did not like it, but then there were the weekends for his particular diversions. On his weekend passes, he would go to the nearest town where he had a suitcase checked in a public locker. In the suitcase, he had the things he loved to wear, that which made his body appear to be what his mind believed it was. Then the day of embarkation came. But wherever Alan went, the suitcase was sure to go.
ただいまーと。よいしょ。助けて。叩けて。よいしょ。ローマの休日は普通にみんな見ちゃうやつだと。まあ名作ですからね。作業に流すには向いてないですかね。どれドムビースト。お、なんやこれ。キングコングか。どれ見る？
Then, as quickly as it had begun, the war was over. Alan came home. Alan had learned all the terms directed at men like himself, but no one had found out his aversion. He was honorably discharged from the service at the end of the war. He'd received the Silver Star and the Bronze Star for gallantry in action. While he was in an army hospital recuperating from a wound he had received in New Guinea, he learned a very interesting fact. He learned that foreign doctors were doing marvelous work with a sex change, man to woman, woman to man. Shortly after his separation from service, Alan came to me for advice.
やっぱ取りしばく方がコスパええな。欲を出しちゃいしん。
It had been found that Alan was really a pseudo-hermaphrodite. A hermaphrodite is one who has the organs of both the male and female in plain sight. A pseudo-hermaphrodite is one who has one perfectly formed organ of either sex and one imperfectly formed one that's difficult to detect. Alan was of the latter. Alan was then given his choice. That which nature had given him was a mistake. It was up to us to correct that mistake one way or the other. Alan had to
なんや、ハモエさんが貼ってくださったやつ、タイトル調べて、ウィキペディア見てみてね。日本語翻訳したら10代のゾンビ出ましたが、10代のゾンビ。
It was easy to see his decision,
10代のゾ
along
ンビ。
with the fact that he had been brought up from early childhood to believe that a woman was the thing to be. Alan decided to become a woman. This, after all the help I could give him, was only the beginning. During the following 2 years, he was to go through the tortures of the damned. But never was there a whimper from him, because he knew that at the end of it all, he would at last be that which he had always dreamed. Hundreds of hormone shots were injected into various parts of his body. Alan's face was worked on with plastic surgery to smooth out the female elements. Long, tedious hours of work. The big day, or the starting of many big days, for it was to take many. The series of operations are performed slowly and at intervals to prevent any unnecessary shock to the nervous system. Still, the hormone shots continue. Day after day, week after week, month after month. And even then, when the operation is over, the sex has changed, the shots must continue as long as Alan lives. First, the breasts are brought out. The body of the woman within begins to appear now. 雑談のやつで。これですな。 Then comes the major surgery, the removal of the man and the formation of the woman.
ゾンビ映画か、これ。キングコング的なやつじゃのうて。これゾンビゾンビ
But in time, Alan is Anne.
違うジャンルですな、これ。どう見ても、キングコング的なやつですな。
If the newspapers had not gotten hold of the story, it would have gone untold, unnoticed as so many others in medical history. The sex change has been performed hundreds of times. However, right here, in this particular sex switch, it's not the end. Acting the woman and being the woman are two entirely different things. Alan had all his life acted the part of the woman. Now he is that woman and must learn how it's done. Anne must learn how to do her own hair. how to make the correct styling for her facial contours.
これ多分今来た方見たら何の枠やってなりますな。それはまあ最初からなんですけども。
Continuing my own psychiatric treatment,
カツオは友達と。
Alan, of course, had known the man's, but he was soon to realize he knew very little about a woman's. Yet, through it all, Anne loved every minute of it. Anne was indeed meant to be a woman, and now that the sex change had been completed, Anne was a very happy woman, and a woman who was eager to learn, and now was accepted by society. A woman born at the age of 24, in a world that...
そう、ゴリラ的なゾンビってのが、ゴリラ的なゾンビってのがちょっとわかんないんですけど。そうとしか考えられないんですよね。
Thus, this case, which has a happy ending, is due entirely to the corrections made by medical science. I've had several such cases. In fact, in my 20 years of practice, I've been prominent in 7. However, my colleagues have had hundreds.
SF ホラー映画 SF ホラー映画
Glenn's case, no, no indeed. Glenn would never be happy with a sex change.
The Alan of your story ended happy?
I'll tell it to you exactly as I told it to
ああ、そうでしたね、そうや。なんかロメロ以降と以前でなんかゾンビが違うっていうのを見ましたね。
On the last treatment, both he and Barbara came to me. I told him the same story of Alan, and as I've told it to you, Inspector, Anne was a pseudo-hermaphrodite. Even though one of the sexes was imperfect, she had the organs and the characteristics of both the male and female. Glenn's case is an entirely different
やっ
type
ぱア
of
ベ
case.
ックが巻き込まれるっていうのは
No matter
昔
what
から
the
なんです
case,
ね。
it's a different thing, a new problem to be looked into.
ウィキペディア日本語訳の方見てたら、以前にゾンビ化されたゴリラがちょうど間に合うように到着してとか書いてあるんですけど、ゾンビ化したゴリラ。ゾンビ化したゴリ
His
ラ。
father wanted Glenn to be a football hero or a baseball player, so that he could brag to his cronies down at the corner saloon as his cronies bragged to him about their own sons. Thus, the ruse of Glenn's
な
fictitious
ぜ
character.
ゴリラ
He invented it when he could find no love from his mother and no love from his father. His mother had hated her own father. Glenn reminded her of her father. Therefore, she gave all her affection, love, and attention to her daughter. Glenn then decided also to become a daughter. Glenn, you can kill this fictitious character of yours anytime you wish. For your happy ending, it's the only way.
Then you think I can kill this second character by transferring her qualities to Barbara?
Exactly. But as the author and his character, the elements must be right.
パワーワードが過ぎますな。
Give the love and
ゾンビ化したゴリ
Glenn
ラ。
has always accepted. If you love each other as you now
パワーし
believe
か
you
ない。
do, well, it'll be a hard job, but you'll enjoy doing the job.
Should I let him continue to wear girls' clothing? Or should I put my foot down?
If you put your foot down, you'd only go behind closed doors. Love is the only answer. Glenda must be transferred to you.
Supposing Glenn never gets over wearing girls' clothing.
Would it matter to you very much?
I love Glenn. I'll do everything I can to make him happy.
自己紹介動画の方でね、こう、作業 BGM にしてくださったら幸いです言ってますけど、今んとこあれですな。作業の妨害ばっかしてますな。まあ、皆様楽しまん。皆様ね、こう楽しんでいただいてるってことで、いいことなんかな。ええことと思っときやしょうか。ゾンビ化したゴリラ。しかしパワーワードや。
Thus, Glenn's case has a happy conclusion. Therefore, two entirely different cases, handled in two entirely different ways, have a happy ending.
Yeah, those two. But what of the hundreds of other less fortunate Glens the world over?
いい感じに埋めてくれるな、ほんま。
Yes. But what of the others? Less fortunate glens, the world over. Oh, snips and snails and puppy dog tails.
Sure. これでね、字幕もあったらいいんですけどね。字幕はまだ著作権別でかかってるみたいでしてね。パブリックで字幕もついてるという映画ありますかね。あ、終わった。ああ、そうですな。こう、地元の行きつけの居酒屋的な感じの居心地の良さになりますかな、ここは。そうですな。とりあえず今度はね、もうちょい映画まとめときますわ。長時間配信できますように。そうなんですか。でしたら、あれですな。同時視聴は、こう、動画の方でやって、それで引き付けたところを作業枠で洋画で一気に引き込むと。そういうのできますな。よいしょ。まあ、徐々に慣らしていって、沼の方に引きずり込んでいくと。で、まあ、これで、私映画のね、ネタちょっと切れちゃったんでね。そろそろ、時間でもあるかな。よいしょ。じゃあば、そろそろちょっと終わりにしようかと思っております。配信の方、そろそろ終わりにしようか思っています。さすがに、ネタが尽きてきたっていうのがありますんで。次はもうちょい映画のね、パブリックのやつ、保存しときますんで。ありがとうございます。サオとメランマイさん。これきっかけでいいのかなよいしょ。てなわけで皆様、ご視聴の方ありがとうございました。ご視聴、ご来場の方ありがとうございました。まあ、よろしければチャンネル登録、高評価、まあ皆様してくださっていると信じます。まあ、よろしければ、アーカイブの方で見てくださっている方、高評価、低評価、チャンネル登録の方よろしくお願いします。それでは皆様、また次回お会いしましょう。多分、また今日の5時、夜ぐらいにちょっとやりたいゲームあるからやるかなって感じで。まあ予定しておりますけども、またコンタクトレンズが入らなかったら、またこうね、なりますんで。はい。お疲れ様でした。では皆さんまたお会いしましょう。それじゃあさようなら、さようなら、さようなら。と、ポチッとな。